Can a man win the popular vote, yet lose the presidency? This question has puzzled many throughout history, and it's not just a theoretical scenario. It has happened before, and it could happen again. The intricacies of the electoral process sometimes lead to unexpected outcomes, where the will of the majority does not always align with the final result. In the tumultuous election of 1876, this very scenario unfolded. It was a time of great political unrest and division in the United States. The country was still healing from the wounds of the Civil War, and the election only served to deepen the rifts. Samuel J. Tilden, a man of the people, faced off against Rutherford B. Hayes, a Civil War general. Tilden was a reformer, known for his efforts to fight corruption in New York. Hayes, on the other hand, was seen as a steady hand, a man who could bring stability to a nation in turmoil. The outcome? A political firestorm. The election results were hotly contested, with both sides accusing each other of fraud and manipulation. The nation watched in suspense as the drama unfolded, unsure of what the future would hold. This is the story of a nation grappling with its identity, trying to find its way in a post-war world. The election of 1876 was more than just a political contest. It was a reflection of the deep divisions and challenges facing the country at the time. An election shrouded in controversy, with disputed ballots and legal battles that would ultimately be decided not by the voters, but by a special electoral commission. The commission's decision would leave a lasting impact on the nation's political landscape, and a man who, despite winning the hearts of many, found himself on the losing end of the political spectrum. Tilden had won the popular vote, but the presidency was awarded to Hayes, leaving many to question the fairness of the electoral process. Samuel J. Tilden saw the highest office slip through his fingers, a poignant reminder of the complexities and imperfections of democracy. His story is a testament to the fact that in politics, as in life, the outcome is not always determined by the number of votes, but by the rules that govern the game. The year is 1876. The Civil War, a brutal chapter in American history, is over. Reconstruction, a period of healing and rebuilding, is underway. But the nation is deeply divided. The South, still reeling from defeat, bristles under Northern control. The North, eager for unity, struggles to reconcile with its former enemy. In this cauldron of resentment and hope, a pivotal election takes place. Enter the contenders. Samuel J. Tilden, the Democratic nominee, is a shrewd lawyer and reformer. As governor of New York, he battled corruption, earning him a reputation for honesty and efficiency. His opponent, Rutherford B. Hayes, is the Republican nominee. A Civil War general, Hayes embodies the Union cause. The stage is set for a clash of ideologies, a battle for the soul of a nation. Election night. Tension hangs heavy in the air. The results trickle in. Tilden takes an early lead. He wins the popular vote by a significant margin, over 51%. Victory seems assured, but in the complex world of the Electoral College, the outcome is far from certain. 4 states, South Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, and Oregon, send in disputed returns. The nation holds its breath. Section 5, Electoral Chaos. Confusion reigns. Both parties claim victory in the disputed states. Accusations of voter fraud, intimidation, and corruption fly. The nation teeters on the brink of chaos. The specter of civil unrest, so recently vanquished, rears its ugly head. The very fabric of American democracy is tested. Section 6, a commission divided. To resolve the crisis, Congress creates an electoral commission. 15 members drawn from the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court are tasked with deciding the fate of the election. The commission, however, is as divided as the nation itself. The Democrats favor Tilden, the Republicans back Hayes. The nation waits with bated breath. Section 7, a compromise reached. Behind closed doors, a deal is struck. The Compromise of 1877, a pact made in the shadows, will reshape the course of American history. In exchange for Hayes's presidency, the Republicans agree to end Reconstruction in the South. Federal troops will be withdrawn, and Southern states will regain control of their own affairs. The deal is a bitter pill to swallow, but it promises to end the deadlock and avert further unrest. Section 8. Tilden's concession. Samuel J. Tilden, the people's choice, faces a choice of his own. The year is 1876, and the United States is in the throes of one of the most contentious presidential elections in its history. Tilden, the Democratic candidate, has won the popular vote by a significant margin, but the electoral vote is hotly disputed. The nation teeters on the brink of chaos, with both sides claiming victory and tensions running high. He can contest the commission's decision, potentially plunging the nation back into chaos. The stakes are incredibly high. If Tilden chooses to fight, the country could face another civil conflict, just a decade after the end of the Civil War. The memories of that brutal conflict are still fresh in the minds of many Americans, and the prospect of renewed violence is terrifying. Tilden is acutely aware of the weight of his decision and the potential consequences for the nation. Or he can accept the compromise, sacrificing his own ambition for the sake of unity. The compromise, known as the Compromise of 1877, would effectively end the dispute by awarding the presidency to Rutherford B. Hayes, the Republican candidate. In return, the Republicans would agree to withdraw federal troops from the South, effectively ending the Reconstruction era. This compromise is far from perfect and comes with its own set of moral and political dilemmas. However, it offers a path to peace and stability, something the nation desperately needs. In a decision that reveals his character, Tilden chooses the latter. He decides to put the nation's needs above his own ambitions, demonstrating a level of statesmanship that is rare in any era. Tilden's decision is not an easy one, and it comes at great personal cost. He knows that by conceding, he is giving up his chance to lead the country and implement the policies he believes in. However, he also understands that the nation's unity and stability are more important than his personal aspirations. "I can retire to private life," he declares, "with the consciousness that I shall receive from posterity the credit of having been elected to the highest position in the gift of the people, without any of the cares and responsibilities of the office." Tilden's words reflect a deep sense of duty and a commitment to the greater good. He believes that history will judge him kindly for his decision, and that his legacy will be one of sacrifice and service to the nation. Tilden's concession marks a pivotal moment in American history. It sets a precedent for the peaceful transfer of power, even in the face of intense political strife. His decision helps to heal a divided nation and paves the way for future leaders to prioritize the country's well-being over personal ambition. In the end, Tilden's legacy is not defined by the office he never held, but by the selfless choice he made for the sake of the nation. Section 9. The Legacy of 1876. The election of 1876 remains a controversial chapter in American history. It was a time of great uncertainty and political turmoil, a period that tested the very fabric of the nation. The election pitted Rutherford B. Hayes, the Republican candidate, against Samuel J. Tilden, the Democratic candidate. The results were hotly contested, with both sides accusing each other of fraud and corruption. The nation was on the brink of another civil conflict just a decade after the end of the Civil War. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the importance of a peaceful transfer of power. The election highlighted the deep divisions within the country, divisions that had been simmering since the end of the Civil War. The Compromise of 1877, which resolved the election dispute, was a delicate balancing act. It involved a series of backroom deals and negotiations that ultimately led to Hayes being declared the winner. In return, federal troops were withdrawn from the South, effectively ending Reconstruction. The Compromise of 1877, while averting immediate crisis, had long-lasting consequences. It marked the end of federal efforts to protect the rights of African Americans in the South. The withdrawal of federal troops left African Americans vulnerable to the rise of white supremacist groups and the implementation of Jim Crow laws. These laws institutionalized racial segregation and disenfranchised African Americans, setting back civil rights progress for decades. It effectively ended Reconstruction, leaving the South to grapple with its own demons, and setting the stage for the Jim Crow era. The South became a region of entrenched racial inequality and violence. The promise of Reconstruction, which had aimed to create a more just and equitable society, was left unfulfilled. The legacy of this period is still felt today, as the struggle for civil rights and racial equality continues. As for Samuel J. Tilden, he returned to private life, his presidential aspirations unfulfilled. Tilden had won the popular vote, but the Electoral College results were disputed. Despite the controversy, Tilden chose not to challenge the outcome, believing that doing so would further divide the nation. His decision to step aside was seen by some as an act of statesmanship, while others viewed it as a missed opportunity to fight for electoral justice. But his legacy lived on, a testament to the power of principle and the weight of history. Tilden's commitment to the rule of law and his willingness to put the nation's interests above his own ambitions left a lasting impression. He continued to be an influential figure in American politics and law, advocating for reforms and fighting against corruption. His legacy is a reminder of the importance of integrity and the impact that one individual's choices can have on the course of history. The question lingers: what if Tilden had challenged the results? What if the Compromise of 1877 had never been made? These are questions that historians and scholars continue to debate. The election of 1876 was a turning point in American history, a moment when the nation could have taken a different path. The decisions made during this period shaped the future of the country in profound ways. Would America be different today? The legacy of 1876 is a complex one, filled with lessons about the challenges of democracy, the importance of leadership, and the enduring struggle for justice and equality. As we reflect on this pivotal moment in history, we are reminded of the need to remain vigilant in protecting the principles upon which our nation was founded.